Okay, let's look at a few more examples here of multiplying polynomials using that speed dating method, right? Where the x is going to go date each term, and then the -4 is going to go date each term, okay? So let's start maybe just by separating our terms. I like putting boxes around these till we get really good at it, okay? And then each term in the trinomial here, you know what, in fact, that trinomial is not in standard form, so I'm going to go ahead and write this whole problem in standard form. All right, so I'll have that binomial of x minus 4, and then the trinomial, I guess I'm kind of looking for is the x squared term first here. So I'm going to say -2x squared. Then I'm looking for the x term, which is a positive 5x. And then I'm looking for that positive 9. Okay, so that's looking a little bit better to me now. All right, so I'm going to split this up. The x, I'm going to multiply that by everything first. Now my three terms here are, again, the -2x squared, the positive 5x, and then the positive 9, okay? And so maybe I'll make my arrows on top this time here. So I'll take the x and I'll multiply it by the -2x squared, and that will give me a -2x cubed, okay? Then I'll take the x and multiply it by positive 5x, and that will give me a positive 5x squared. And then the x times that 9 will give me a positive 9x. Okay, now I'm going to go ahead and multiply my second term in my binomial, my -4, by each term in that trinomial. Okay, and I'm going to sort of line up the terms vertically. It makes it nice and easy to add them at the end. So a -4 times that -2x squared will give me a positive 8x squared. So I'm going to line that up in my x squared column here. Now I have my -4 multiplied by my positive 5x. That will give me a -20x. And then finally, my -4 multiplied by my positive 9 will give me a -36. Okay, now I can just add up my columns nice and easy here. Okay, my -2x cubed is just going to come down. My 5x squared plus 8x squared will give me a positive 13x squared. Now it looks like I've got a 9x plus a -20x will give me a -11x. And then my -36 will come right down here. Okay, so again, that's multiplying polynomials by using that speed dating method. Okay, let's take a look at a couple other examples here. Okay, this time it asks us to find the product. Okay, notice they put the trinomial first this time. Okay, so I have 4x squared minus 3x minus 1, and then multiplied by the difference of 2x minus 5. Okay, now there's lots of ways that we could do this. Okay, we could, just make 3 lines now, or we could just do this. I'm going to use the commutative property, and I'm just going to write out this problem the other way instead. So this 2x minus 5, and then 4x squared minus 3x minus 1. Okay, so now this original problem looks exactly like the other ones. Okay, and we can go about it in the exact same way. Okay, and so again, I'll take my 2x and I'll multiply it by each term in this trinomial here. Okay, notice how I'm putting the sign in front when I circle each term. Okay, so 2x times 4x squared is going to give me an 8x cubed. Okay, then 2x times -3x will give me a -6x squared. And then finally 2x times -1 will just give me a -2x. Okay, when I go ahead and take this -5 and multiply it by each term here, again, -5 times a positive 4x squared will give me a -20x squared. And then -5 times that -3x will give me a positive 15x. And then -5 times -1 will give me a positive 5. And I can go ahead and add my like terms in a column here. So my final answer will be 8x cubed minus 26x squared plus 13x plus 5. And this is my final answer in standard form. Okay, now this one more, I guess I'll maybe do a little bit faster. It'll maybe be an example of how we can do this when we get a... Okay, sorry, as I was saying, this last example will be maybe an example of how we can do this when we get a little bit better at this method. So maybe I won't use the different colors, and I'll just kind of go through this a little bit faster. Okay, so I see the trinomial first and the binomial second, so I'm just going to go ahead and switch these around. So I'm going to say this is now 6x minus 5, and then 5x squared minus x minus 3. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and kind of speed date here with my first term. Okay, so I know 6x times 5x squared is going to give me 30x cubed. And then I'm going to take the 6x multiplied by the negative x will give me negative 6x squared. And then 6x times negative 3 will give me negative 18x. Okay, now I'm going to take my negative 5 and multiply it by every single term in the trinomial. So I know that negative 5 times 5x squared is going to give me a negative 25x squared. Okay, I know that negative 5 times negative x will give me a positive 5x. And I know that negative 5 times negative 3 is going to give me a positive 15. Okay, so at this point, I'm just going to go ahead and add all these like terms. Okay, so 30x cubed is just going to kind of be on its own. I know that negative 6x squared plus a negative 25x squared will give me a negative 31x squared. I know that negative 18x plus 5x is going to give me a negative 13x. And then finally, this constant term of 15 is just going to drop down, and that is my final answer. Okay, I don't recommend you guys going as fast as I did on that example. Maybe I even made a mistake. Okay, so make sure you take these nice and slow until we get better at them.